Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mr.Fred and Friends. I'm your host, Fred Schultz, and we got a few things going on here tonight. I just came back from the tournament, WCPL tournament in Florida, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Real quick, everybody, I've got to say hi to these guys. You know, I always talk about the loyalty of my listeners. It just, I can never say enough about them, but I got to mention them all the time. You know, Paul Farrell every week, Ryan Courtney, and Jaquas. But I know I butcher your name, and it sucks too. But anyhow, and James Stevens, you know, and Francis Swain. Oh my goodness gracious, you guys are popping up everywhere. Yeah, Stefan Gumby Santersola, and wow, Sharon Marie Mooey. Oh, wow. I get a lot of new ones. Very, very cool. Yeah, you know, they're flying too fast for me to read. Everybody knows I'm an old guy. It's kind of tough for me here. But anyhow, we had a great time this last weekend. I mean, the WCPL, Rick Fernandez, which we hope to have on here in a little while, he did a terrific job down there. We had a great time. It was. And you know what was cool about it? You know, I always talk, guys, about, you know, what paintball has got. I don't know, it's just given me the pleasure of meeting some of the greatest people in the world, I think, anyhow. And each time I go to one of these tournaments, I meet more and more new people. And a real treat for me this time was Jennifer and Frank Montresor. You know, I've had them on my show a few times. Great people. Absolutely love them. But I never got to meet them face to face. DJ Hanu Fox does all the Legends events. Great guy. Had him on a show a few times over the course of the year. Never got a chance to meet him. Well, you know what? This weekend, I got to sit there face to face, shake their hands. Obviously, I gave Jennifer a big hug. And we just sat and talked. And it was, to me, you know, that's what paintball is really about. I've met some of the greatest people I just think I've ever met in my life. And, you know, a lot of you that jump on here, Brent Mitchell Foster, you know, I'm going to talk about your event here in a little bit too, Brent. Anyhow, you know, a lot of these people I would have never, ever met except for paintball. So, you know, paintball is, it blesses all of us in a lot of different ways, To me, it's all about you people. You know, I've met so many people over the years around the world, and I just absolutely love it. I can't ever say enough about it. I just think it's absolutely terrific. And, you know, all you that sit and you take the time out of your lives every Tuesday night to sit and watch my show. You know, there's just no words for it. You know, I tell you I appreciate it is pretty weak, I would think, anyhow. But, you know, I don't know any other words to tell you except I so much appreciate it. I really do. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about what just happened, and hopefully we've got one of the new Paintball Hall of Fame inductees. I was going to have a couple of them on, and I was going to have our newest band member on too, Mr. Rob Walker, but Rob played with us in Florida this last weekend and missed his flight night before last, so he's still traveling right now to get back home. So it kind of sucks when that happens, but you know, it is what it is. And Jennifer asked me, you know, like I say, meeting Jennifer and Frank was an absolute treat. They are so cool. And you know, they've got the ICC, the Montresor Classic, and it comes up July 29th through the 31st, and it's going to be at Paintball Sports Field. You know, that's where we do they got the greatest woodsball. I played woodsball there last year, and believe it or not, the first time I had played that on the same field on the same date was 30 years prior to that. How cool was that? It just, you know, it just blew me away. And you know, it was really cool. Is a lot of the guys that were there 30 years ago, a lot of the Master Blasters, a lot of other people that showed up, they were all there. It was, like I say, you know, paintball is very good. And I think it's good for all of us. And, you know, just like everybody watching me right now, you know, we all work together we're gonna make this sport even bigger and better than what it is now. I've worked really hard over the years, especially when I first started, along with a lot of people, to get it to keep growing. And I feel the people that watch me, the people I associate with, the people that have PBSL events and stuff like this, I think they're the best of the best. These people work their butts off for the sport of paintball to make it bigger. And I'm behind them 1,000%, and I'm hoping everybody out there that's watching this right now just get behind these guys, no matter what organization it is. I love the WCPL, the NXL is fine, the ICC is fine, PBSL is fine. These are all good organizations. We don't have to have just one organization that you got to go to this one or you can't go anywhere else. That's not how you build paintball. We build paintball by everybody helping each other out. And it's just like me. I would like to go to every event that's out there, but it's virtually impossible because there's just so many events. So you just got to kind of pick and choose what's going on. And I know Jennifer's. They moved it out to Jerry's field out there. Kevin Donaldson, he's the one that really put some fields together. Him and the Master Blasters, they work their tails off doing this stuff. And the way I understand it now is they're putting in a hyperball field and they're putting in a mounds field. I'm going to drag Mr. Donaldson out here in a while because he's going to actually be on the show tonight. I'm very privileged to have Kevin on here tonight. And Kevin was at the WCPL down in Florida, so we're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the tournament, the Montressor Classic that's going to be out there too, because I can almost guarantee you that Kevin's out there working very, very hard at it. And Rick Wilcox, good evening. Rick Wilcox, it's another guy that's worked very, very hard for paintball. Like I say, I am blessed with some of the greatest people in the world to be my friends, to help me do all of this stuff. You guys are just terrific. You absolutely, absolutely are. Real quick, though, let me congratulate the first, second, third place at Rico's Florida Classic down there. And I'm telling you what a great time it was. And I'm going to pull Rico out here in a little while, too. And I'm going to let Rico blow his own horn because, I'm going to tell you exactly who won. And we all had a great, great time. He had a perfect setup. Everything went pretty smooth, I would thought. And so anyhow, let me real quick. First place, Team Farside. Let me tell you guys, Rico had 18 teams there. And, I played with the band. So, I won't even say anything about that. But there were 17 teams that absolutely rocked. If you think this was an easy tournament, you had to go to it and try it. These teams played extremely good. And I don't care what place they came in, they played hard. I congratulate everybody that went to that. It was absolutely cool. But Team Farside, you guys come out on top. Second was MVPS Dark Ops. They took second place. Another terrific team. Third place was Extreme Rage. So we're going to, when we bring Rico out, we'll talk a little bit about his field and, about the fun that we had there, man. It was just cool, period. That's all there is to it. And I always give a shout out to, Combat Zone Paintball was where we had the first WCPL tournament out here in California. And Jake Krulin, those guys worked their butts off, and very, very cool what they did. And their field's doing real good right now. If you ever get a chance, you want to go up to Oroville and you want to try out Combat Zone. It's a absolutely great place. So you'd absolutely like it. And like I say, I'm going to talk about some of the people that I met when I was at Rico's. That's a big thing for me. I love meeting you guys. I honestly do. I think it's a kick. I met Rob Cole out there. Great guy. Him and I've been texting back and forth. It was terrific. And Kristen Landry. Now, this kid, he texted me before I actually went out there. And he builds automags. Everybody knows I'm a big automag guy. I'm a big airgun designs guy. So I love automag. I love autococker, yada, yada. Anyhow, he texted me. He was so gracious and everything. He said he was rebuilding a new marker. So I took him out one of my old Fred Schultz Pro Gear barrels that was made by J&J Barrels back in the day. Still in a package. This those barrels were so sweet. It was absolutely terrific. So anyhow, maybe sometime I'm going to bring them on a show, because what I want to start doing is I got some great people coming up on my show. Matter of fact, next month I'm going to be sitting down. I'm going to have Oliver White Cloud laying on one side, and I'm going to have Alex Frazee on the other side. So it's going to be like a thorn between two roses, but it's going to be really cool. It's going to be one that you're going to want to tune into and check out, because they do all the hormesis things, and they got a great thing going, but they're just great guys. Like I say, it's all about the people. You can be the richest guy in the world, but if you don't do anything for the sport, I really don't have time for you. I won't badmouth anybody, because that's not how I roll, but I have no time for you. I have time for the people who really want to work hard and build a sport. Them people I love, period. So anyhow, I had to say hi to those guys real quick. And then I mentioned the PBSL. Okay, the PBSL at Dynamic Paintball in Aurora, Colorado is coming up April 21st. And, these guys out there, just like Ian Jaquas, boy, I hope I'm not blowing that in. Ian's out in Massachusetts, and he's working really, really hard to bring the PBSL out there. And the PBSL is a terrific organization. I mean, it is absolutely terrific. Todd runs it down there in Southern California. So you guys get a chance, get behind these guys, because if we go out and you show you don't have to do every one of them, but if you can just take enough time to go out and do one or do two of them, what you're doing is you're making paintball better, because you're showing that there is an excitement in the sport and an excitement to go help other people. And that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. And real quick, I am starting, it's going to be Fred Schultz's Constant Pursuit is starting up again. It's a team that I had years ago. We played professional for a long, long time. And I think it's time to bring it back. And I am bringing it back with a real good friend of mine and a hardworking Mr. Dan Ringer. Dan Ringer is going to be the captain of it, because obviously I'm not going to be the captain of it. I'm just, I like going out and playing and stuff like that. But Constant Pursuit's going to be a team that's going to be competitive. So we're putting it together right now with some great people and some very fast people. So if you get a chance, jump on Facebook on Flagpole Productions, and you'll see the invite there, or just flat get a hold of Dan Ringer on Facebook and tell him you're interested, and he'll talk your ear off. Pretty cool. Now, real quick, we announced the inductees into the Paintball Hall of Fame last week. And I was very, very proud that DJ Johanna Fox came on and announced him on this show along with Bill and I. I thought it was pretty cool. And so real quick, I want to read their names one more time real quick. Now, this is a posthumous award, because Jimmy Anderson was a great guy. He passed away, was a friend of mine for years and years. And he's gone. For promoter, it was Rennick Miller. For store and field owner was Mr. David Ruddick. Paintball Dave, Dave was with me at the Florida tournament. Dave and his lovely, lovely wife, Tony. I can't say enough about them. Absolutely great people. There's not even words to describe them. We kind of all hung around together, Tim and Terry Schloss and those guys, and they just make life beautiful, guys. I mean, they just really, really make life beautiful. Just like all you guys that are watching right now. Like I say, I can't thank you enough for it. You guys are very, very cool, and it's so appreciated. It's not even funny. So anyhow, and then I've got the media was Randy Camilla, the player referee, Robert Rosie Rose. Now, Rosie is one of the master blasters, and he's a head ref when Kevin and Jerry Braun do the tournament out there, the New York Classic. And we'll talk a little bit more when we pull Kevin up. That one's going to be in June. But I got to tell you, he is one of the best refs, if maybe not the best ref that I've ever seen in my life. He is, he's fair, he's fast, he's courteous, he's smart, and he does not take any crap. So he, like I say, he's fair. We'll let it go there. And inventor and innovator, none other than Mr. Ross Alexander. Ross Alexander was my first marker sponsor when I started back. I still actually have my Bushmaster Pump Bushmaster down there that I used. Absolutely terrific marker. Absolutely love it. And then trade shows, Mr. Thomas Gee. Thomas Gee, a lot of you don't know Thomas. A lot of you do. Thomas worked for Tipman, worked really hard, doing events and stuff like that to push the sport of paintball. So real quick, let me give my shout out so I can drag everybody out here because I'm getting low on time here right now. I start every week, my shout outs, and I got to do these every week, people, because these guys actually really made paintball what it is today. And I do not want you guys forgetting these guys, please. You know, when you see these guys, go up and talk to them, the nicest guys in the world, but work their butts off for paintball. Starting with Mr. Tim Schloss. I just told you we hung out with Tim and his lovely wife, Terry. I've known him for 30-some years. Just the greatest people in the world. He owns Gateway Paintball, which is going to be the final WCPL tournament this year in St. Louis in October. And I cannot wait to go to that. That is going to be an absolute riot. And then Mr. Dan and John Colby. They had Air America back in the days. Now it's Immortal Air today. And Dan took the time to come down, hang out with Rico and Kevin and Bill and all of us. He drove 8 hours to get down there from his field at Panhandle Paintball up in northern Florida. If you get a chance, go check out Panhandle Paintball up there. You guys are going to love it. The guy's got it going on, works really, really hard for everything that he does, and has probably the best air system out there and has for years. So anyhow, and then Mr. Bud Orr, you know, don't have to say much more about Bud. Mr. Autococker himself, WGP, one of the greatest, nicest, most impressionable people you'll ever want to meet in your entire life. Just a gem of a person, absolutely. Mr. Tom K. Tom was my second, and for a lot of years, an awful lot of years, sponsor with the Automag. Absolutely love it. Rainey and Juvie Boucher, head Paintball News. Randy Camilla, APG. Mr. Jerry Braun had Paintball Sports, and he also has the Paintball Sport Field out there where the ICC Montressor Classic is going to be, and also the New York Classic, the Woods Ball, where we get the privilege of having the Blasters do the reffing. So that's one good team I don't have to play against. So that kind of works out for me pretty good. So I like that. And then Mr. Ross Alexander. Ross Alexander, like I told you a minute ago, he is coming into the Paintball Hall of Fame. Very, very, very well deserved. Had Line SI back in the day. Just a great, great person also. Mr. Jim Lively had Lively Productions, 2 events he wanted to do every year until now. He used to want to do Jerry Braun's World Cup and Lively's Masters in Tennessee. 2 of the best tournaments that I got to tell you, to try to match those are pretty tough. Really are. And then I got to say hi to my little buddies on the Hermans. The Hermans is the kids team. I really push the kids teams. They're the future of our sport. But Mark Gong Jr. and Jaden Gong, raised by their father, Mark Gong, which played on Constant Pursuit years ago and now plays on the OG Ironman, which are just a ton of my friends. I love all those guys. They are, like I say, I wished everybody could be blessed with the people I get to know. It would just make you humble. It really, really would, because they are the best of the best. I can never, ever say enough about them. And then Gino from Vulcan Sports. I mention Gino every week because Gino does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that you guys don't see. He helps all kinds of people, all kinds of fields. He just, you know, he doesn't like you telling about what he does. So, you know, he doesn't say anything, but he works very, very hard for people in the sport of paintball. And then one more thing, Kathy Alvarez. Kathy Alvarez has the Valkyries. She's working extremely hard to get donations. She's selling stickers and all kinds of things to put it together so she can have her team go to New York. And she's getting her team, a great bunch of girls. And we need the girls' teams, guys. Come on. We need the girls' teams out there. So if you get a chance, jump on Facebook. I know she has another site, but just look up Kathy Alvarez, and I'm sure she'll give you all the info. So with that all said, let me bring on some guys that really, really work hard for paintball. Let me start with my buddy right here, Mr. William Bailey. How you doing, Billy?
Good.
Did I say it all right? I had to write some of it down, man. And then I only said half of it. I'm like, unreal. So, but anyhow.
You went from your usual 12 minutes to 21 minutes.
I know it. Yeah. Steve McGuire's got to be up there just biting
his
fingernails. When I go over a minute, it killed him. So,
yeah.
That's pretty funny. I absolutely love it. So what do you say we bring a couple of guys, Billy, that were at the tournament. One stayed there because he owns the field. So
like he had to be there, you know.
Yeah, he did. Hey, and he had a hell of a ride, didn't he?
Oh, hell yeah. That thing had a lift kit on it.
Of that ride, man. I got to tell you.
I want one.
Boy, me too. I wanted to hook a rope on it and ski behind it, but you know, I better not do it. So, so let's bring up real quick Mr. Rico Fernandez, owner of Gator Paintball, where we just had the WCPL last weekend. How you doing, Rico?
Good evening, everybody. Hello, Fred. Hello, Bill. Hello, everyone tuned in.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, and let's bring out a guy that's, you know, it is the next WCPL tournament that's going to be coming up. This is the tip of the spear for this tournament right here. I know Jerry has the field, but this guy right here, he runs the show.
He's got a bear.
And he's got a bear. Yeah, oh, gosh. You make me so jealous when you say that. Please, everybody, welcome Mr. Kevin Donaldson.
How are you, guys?
How are you doing, Kev?
Tired.
Tired, yeah. Yeah, me too. You know, I'll tell you what was really bad, you know, is a 5.5-hour flight back. That was, you know, I love direct flights, but I think I'm going to take the hoppers from now on, so at least I can, you know, feel comfortable for an hour in between flights. But it was worth every bit of it to go down there and play that tournament. And we're going to talk a little bit about the fields here in a few minutes, but I want to talk real quick about some of the people that were there. You know, Kevin, you brought two teams down there. You had the Blasters and Blasters Black. Yep. And look at the people that showed up. I mean, DJ Hano Fox, he didn't play, but I had him on a show the week before, and what did he do? He drove over 3 hours to come up to say hi to all of us, man.
That was a surprise because he said he wasn't going to make it, and then he showed up. So
yeah,
that was a nice surprise to see him.
I absolutely agree. I thought that was really, really cool, Kevin. And
then,
how about
Termite Smith showing up? You know, I mean, when's the last time you saw Termite? I don't think he's
ago. Yeah, you know, but that's what I was talking about paintball earlier, Kev. You know, I would never get to know any of these people. I would not know you if it was. I would not know anybody on the screen or that's chatting except for Mark Gong. I would not know any of those if it wasn't for paintball. You know, paintball is just it's blessed a lot of people in a lot of different ways. But you know, going to that tournament and having such a good time and meeting Jennifer and Frank Montresor and meeting that kid that flew all the way from France into play with the 12 Angry Men, which is with Jennifer's, you know, who she played with.
They were angry, all right.
Yeah. And that kid, it just blew me away. 27 years ago, I did a tournament in France with Tom Kay and a couple of guys from England, a couple of guys from France, and a guy from Germany. I'll throw together a team. And we actually won the tournament. They were only allowed one pro on the team, and I was the one pro that they allowed on the team. And we actually won that tournament. And this kid was 13 years old, and he played in that tournament. And he said that, he humbled me bad, but he says that after that tournament and talking to me and everything like that, he says he knew what his life was going to be, and it was going to be in paintball. And to this day, he's 41 years old now, and that's what he does is he builds autocockers and makes paintball parts for people over in France. So, you know, like I say, Rico, if we wouldn't went to that tournament, I would have never got to shake DJ's hand. I would have never got to give Jennifer a hug and shake Frank's hand. I would have never got to see Kevin, which I absolutely love seeing every chance I can, you know, because him and I go back a gazillion years. So I can't tell you what was roaming the earth because it would embarrass us both, but they were big animals. So Real quick, Rico, you did a great job out there, buddy. Yeah, you made everybody have a good time.
Thank you. Yeah, all possible because of the players that signed up. I got a little list I like to kind of go over, but I have to recognize people for when we do these successful events. First of all, I categorize a successful event, an event that where the majority of people left with the feeling that they had a good time, that they got to meet new friends, that they played in excellent fields, that they felt that the whole package was worthy of them spending the money that now you have to spend to get in travel and days. So when I'm able to produce that, and how you gauge it is, the feedback you get during the event. The amount of people that walked up to me to say thank you for such a great event, including you guys. That's where you really know whether you struck the right chord. And amongst those people, I got to thank you. You got to thank the people that were in the behind the scenes as well. Like, the paint that came, where to come, Valken Paint stepped up and they gave us, you guys shot the paint. I mean, it was, Kevin, what do you think of the paint? Where's that paint at? I mean,
I thought that paint was fantastic.
I mean, top of the line.
This is the second time I've shot that precision paint. First time was obviously at Fred's event, and then this event. And I'll tell you, I'm glad to be shooting that paint.
Yeah,
that was on point. On point. I'm not sponsored, and I'm saying this is for real. I'm not saying it because I'm about the sponsored team. I'm just telling you, this paint was fantastic. Fantastic.
I'll say it was good, and I'm not sponsored by Valken.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
the reason
he has to say that he's a Valken sponsored team or a Valken sponsored player.
I know. Yep, exactly. And I'm not. But, like I say, Gino does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which a lot about it too, Kevin, But, 99.9% of the people don't. So, I think what he does, he goes overboard to help. And that was very gracious for you to say it, whether you're sponsored or not sponsored, because I know you, Kevin, even if you're sponsored by somebody, if you're not happy, you just don't say nothing. You don't badmouth them. You just clam up. So,
well, let me put it this way. If I'm not happy, they're not my sponsor.
Yeah.
It's not
that's right.
I mean, you can give me all the free stuff or discounts or whatever, but it's about winning games and winning tournaments. And I will use what I feel is the best stuff. And that's what I'm using.
From a promoter point of view, one of the disasters that is like having your restaurant open and your food is bad. And that to me is the consumable of the event. And if that in itself either doesn't fly straight, I mean, to make a paintball break, it's such a science. People don't put it together. Like your bolt is going to hit that ball, and now that ball is going to travel, lose velocity, and somehow this hard piece hit it. But this part is the ball is supposed to hit a target that is soft, the skin, tissue, and break on that, but not on the gun. Science. It's big. And when you can capture that and master it as an event, that makes me happy. When the paint is too brittle as eggshell and people are just blah, 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 blah. No, not worthy. But anyway, thanking the paint was great. Social paintball. Paul Ballenbach, Joey Blute, my friends, social paintball. They stepped that up. They helped me a lot. I thank the players, obviously, for the feedback, positive or negative, right? As long as you came to me with a level head, I was recipient. I would take it either way. You said, hey, that will not, I would try to do something about it. If you came yelling at me, that's not going to work for me. But I want to thank Kevin. Kevin was a big part of this event because Kevin and I spent a lot of time working through the rules of the league, along with you guys, with you, Bill and Fred. But Kevin and I also mind-dealed and had to get together some thoughts on certain rules that just, time changes. And he was very helpful in every aspect. You thank guys like Fred, like Frank Cornell for bringing Dilly Donuts, but also his contribution to the game, to the sport, to the league. The support that he has for us is invaluable in my book. I think, I particularly want to thank the band. I personally have a direct connection with you guys because I'm loyal to those that are loyal to the game, right? And you guys have been just that, and you're in my book. You're resembling. You're the essence of what we have. You're the reason why we have what we have. But what do we have to say about But that hasn't been said? Fred Schultz, marketing. I mean, on and on. The guys, Tim Schloss, they're on in this band, man. It was an honor for me to have you, and a lot of the work that went on to these fields was, to give you guys a little bit of comfort, because I know how hard it is to get on your knees that hard.
Oh, buddy, it was great, man. I mean, running into a bunker and I'm standing up, pretty darn cool. Because, I can get down right away. It's getting back up that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And then I got to thank Comp Sports, who did a pretty good job. We had some interruption of signals. The feedback wasn't at 1080p 4K because, my local cable company, which I had plenty of bandwidth up and down, decided to bog down my bandwidth because of the consumption of the day. But CompSport came in and did a fantastic job. Bob Ho.
Terrific job.
Terrific. I mean, and it kept the people informed. You were able to stay home, and that's what I like to do. I watch those games if I'm staying, And I also have to thank, the staff, the people that helped me put it together behind the scene. I have a 70-year-old, employee that was there helping me put all the parking arrangement together, the banner, the flags, all the fluff, the nice stuff that makes the facility look pretty, but also organize the parking and all the stuff. The employees that help me organize, get people parked in the right way, so we have in and out access. All that staff. My
that was absolutely perfect, by the way. Not to interrupt you, but that can be a mess if it's not handled right. And your guy. Am I right, Bill?
Yeah, they did a great job at parking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The minute we pulled in, they asked my name. I told them my name. They pointed right where to. I mean, everything was like clockwork, Rico.
Yeah.
So my hats off to all of them.
They about had a heart attack when they seen my truck. They're like, "Where in the hell are we going to park that thing?"
But they got you in there, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so the parking went really smooth for my rec ball. I had a very busy weekend. And I thank the reffing crew that did the reffing for the event. Those guys, we lost a guy at the very end. One of the guys didn't show up. And then one got sick the first day. He ended up getting dehydrated.
Yeah.
And so we ended up with 8. And, my guys did a very good job and then how do we evaluate those guys as a league? Us ourselves or myself, as we just ask that they are as good as they can be, but more importantly, not biased. When we can get them not to be biased, we are going to give a level playing field. They'll make good and bad calls. They'll miss some. They'll make some good ones. The players are always pushing the envelope, stuff going on. So, and this is the hardest sport to ref. I mean, people are hiding behind objects. It's not like the NBA where they're running around in an open court or a boxing match that is open for everybody to see everything. You don't need a lot of people. These guys did a great job, in my opinion. I got to thank Chris Rael for keeping up with the schedules. Rich at the registration table, keeping everybody informed. I think we uploaded all of the scores pretty quick as they came up pretty fast. I got to thank Matt Richards for commentating at the event, Comp Sports. Did a great job, former pro player himself, friend of mine. And more importantly, and lastly, I got to thank God for giving me the ability, the strength to get through this event and to put it together when I just started to walk. And somehow I found the strength to get out there and walk, jump in and out of the tractor, build more dirt, more wood bunkers. And, Jennifer Montresor came out and helped me during the week. Thank you, Jennifer. Frank Montresor, I mean, thank you to all of you guys that were involved, and I'll leave it at that. I'm very
look how it paid off though, Rico. You know, and you had 18 teams that showed up. You know, and I'm sure I don't know where the band ended up, but I'm sure it wasn't. You know, I'm hoping to be very last so we get an award for that. But
we are living proof
I
that
think you're safe, Fred.
yeah, you know what? I come back here and everybody goes, "How'd you do?" I go, "We were first." They go, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, first from the bottom up."
Yeah.
And I'm damn proud of it too, baby.
We finished fifth. It might as well be last.
Hey, Kevin, fifth is something with them teams that were out there. Them guys were screaming.
Yeah, they were.
Oh my!
The competition was excellent.
It was the
excellent.
gauntlet.
We were getting you guys. We were getting beat in seconds. You know, I'm like, oh my God. It was incredible. So if you ended up fifth, let me tell you, that is damn good. Because, you know, it could have been a roll of the dice for any of the top 5 teams that would get in. You know, sometimes it only takes a ball here and a ball there to make the difference in a game. But, you know, the blasters can always hold their head up, man. You not only have a great team, you got a great bunch of guys that are going to rep the Woods Ball out there, you know, the New York Classic. So, you know, and just like Rico, Kevin, you know, you've done this for a long time. You know, everybody thinks it's just so easy to put one of these on. Yeah, you just do this. You get a bunch of teams, you get a bunch of paint, and it's going. There is so much behind the scenes stuff. There's so many people that you got to count on, and if they don't show up, then you got to regroup somehow. And you know, there's just a lot to it. Really,
you know, people have no idea how much work it takes. You know, even though you're running a paintball facility like we do or Rico does, you know, they assume that when they show up for a major event like this, that they're getting the same as the recreational business. No, that's not true. You know, we put in months and months of work, you know, for these events. You don't have to do that for rec ballers. 90% of them have no idea. But, you know, when it comes to putting on an event, and you guys are spending all this money to travel, the amount of work that we put into the fields, you can never recoup those man hours.
Not at all. Yeah, you don't even make pennies half the time.
You really don't.
Look at Francis Swain, man. You remember Francis from the Hellhounds out there, right?
Automen now, from what I understand. But yes, I know Francis.
Yeah, he is so excited for New York WCPL. And I got to tell you, Kev, it's not just Francis that's all psyched up about it. I have all kinds of people that are talking to me about, hey, you're going to go there? Well, yeah, of course I'm going to go there, you know? And they go, well, we're coming too, man. You know, so it's going to be a great event. Last year's event, I thought was absolutely awesome. I would not have traded. You know, Kevin, I got to do a lot of stuff over the years. You know, you've seen me do a lot of really cool stuff. But that is one of the top 5 best events last year that you held that I've ever been at in my entire life. You know, there was 13 teams is all there was there. But the excitement, the electricity, the camaraderie, it just seems like everything about it gelled together. You know, the Hellhounds had 5 guys leave the second day because they all got mad, but the other 5 stayed, and kids were jumping in to help them. I mean, it was just, it was like paintball. It was absolutely cool.
Look, I like the smaller events. I like the smaller events better than these gigantic events that we all attend with 72 teams and 65 teams. Because, you know, I like the fact that you get to interact with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, you go to these major events and, you know, it could be 100 teams there, but you're still only going to play 8 if you don't make it to the semis. So, you know, but you don't get that same personal feeling like we just had at Rico's, where you actually have time to just sit and talk to everybody instead of running field 1, field 3, field 2, you know, back and forth. Do this, do that. You don't get a minute to talk to people that come there. And me, like you, Freddy, I love to talk to people. You know, I love to meet new people, you know, and I enjoy that part of the event almost as much as playing. You know?
That's a big thing for me. And, you know, Rico had 18 teams there. And I got to tell you, I think I talked to, matter of fact, I know I talked to somebody from each one of those teams, because I had all kinds of guys coming up to me that I never had met before, introducing themselves and talking. you know, and I've got probably 6, 7 new guys that have already texted me since Rico's event only a couple days ago. They've friended me, and I'm already friends with them and talking to them online. You know, would that have happened without the Rico's event? No.
No.
Last year in your event, I left there with so many friends, and one of the best ones I got to say is Francis Swain. I think the world of that kid. He is such a terrific attitude and so good. I can't say enough about it. So, am I looking forward to your event? Absolutely. Did I enjoy Rico's event? Absolutely.
Rico's event is a must-do event.
All of them are. I think they all are.
They all are. You know, to go to Florida in the winter, you know, I mean, Freddie, you live in California. But, you know, if you live in New York or you live in Massachusetts and, you know, you want to get away from this damn winter, number one, you want to go to Florida. So what better reason to go to Florida is there to play a paintball tournament?
There you go.
Yep, absolutely right. Paintball tournament at a very, very nice facility. Yep. A very nice. I mean, Rico thought of everything. Multiple air stations, easy access. The fields were, with the exception of the Woods ball field with a little bit of a walk, big deal. Other than that, everything was perfect. Perfect.
I'd have been really perfect if I'd have had a golf cart. But, other than that, I would have used it to play with, too. Believe me. Your Woods ball field was really cool, Rico. I gotta give you some kudos on that Woods ball field.
That was worth the walk. That Woods ball field was badass.
I'm not saying the walk was a problem. It's just, it's just a little bit of a walk. I mean, so what? It's not a major hike. I've walked farther. I played 30 years
ago. We had never mentioned that.
No.
Hey, Rico said he's going to put a tram in next year for the old guys. So.
Yeah.
I think that walk was the equivalent of running the flag back on the Ponderosa.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Tom Gee looked up and he's like, not again.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, because, we get over there and everybody goes, well, who's going to run the flag back? And we all look at each other like, are we going to get to the flag? Are you kidding me?
Come on, you guys are there to have a good time and promote the game.
And a great time. I never go to these events anymore expecting to go out there and kick butt. I go to these events to meet people, help the people having the event, show people a good time, and just have a good time with my friends, Kevin. God, I mean, like I say, how often do I get to see you if it's not a paintball thing?
Sure. Yeah, we could talk every day, but it's not the same as getting to hang out and bullshit in a chair next to each other. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely right, my friend.
Back in the day, Fred, we never had the time to do that.
No, we didn't. Well, that's because it was more of a really competitive thing. Not that we weren't friends; we were great friends. But you had a lot of stuff. People didn't realize. When you're a really big sponsor team like back in the days we were, you had your sponsors getting a hold of you. You got to make them happy. The people watching you happy. Your teammates happy. Everybody expected so much from you, all the time. And I got to tell you, the pressure was always on. That's why back in the day when I did big games, I have a riot doing big games. I met a ton of great people. If I won, lost, big deal. I was just there to play paintball. And now with the band, that's kind of how my mindset is now. My mindset is I go to these events for one reason, to hang out with the people putting them on, to hang out with my friends and meet some new people and play paintball, but I don't go out expecting to be number one unless we're counting from the bottom up, So, Billy, what did you think of the event?
I thought it was awesome. Just able to get out of Missouri and go down there for the weather and then come back behind tornadoes and rain. It was great.
Yeah, this is coming from a guy that drove 1,600 miles in the rain.
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it rained the whole time when we left. It rained the whole time down there, and then but then the whole time we were there, it was beautiful. It was awesome weather.
You know what? The gods have been gracing us with weather because event 2 weeks before the event out here, there was a 65% chance of rain that whole weekend.
Yeah.
No rain the entire weekend. The weather was great in the daytime, got a little cool at night, but I was in at night. Who cares, you know? And then Rico's, you know, same thing. 2 weeks before I was going down there, I'm looking at getting the extended forecast. Rain on Saturday. Get down there, no rain.
Nope, it was perfect.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you, both of you guys, Freddie, you and Rico both made my miserable New York winter so short. You know?
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh,
So, Kevin, real quick, tell us a little bit, because I know Jennifer is going to have the ICC at the field that you run, right?
Yep. Yes, she is. Yeah, that boy, do I got a lot of it.
I understand you're building. Yeah, I know. I understand you're building a Mounds field and a hyperball field.
Actually, removing the existing hyperball field from its current location, moving it to another location on the property, just, you know, maybe 100, 150 yards north of where it is now. And then I'm going to put an entirely new Mounds field on where the existing hyperball field is.
Wow.
So, you know, that's going to be a hell of an undertaking, but we're going to get it done.
Oh, you got a tractor now, don't you?
Yeah, I got a tractor, but I'm still going to have to rent a hell of a lot of equipment machines, you know, to get this done. The tractor's going to help when I don't have the manpower to run all the machines, but there'll be a couple of weeks I'll be renting heavy machinery, you know, to get this stuff done.
Right. And see, and that's another thing that, just like I'm trying to tell everybody watching, you know, that is the behind the scenes of putting one of these events together. You know, you don't see all the work, you know, just like Rico. Rico didn't sit on his butt. Matter of fact, Rico was going live on his tractor all the time, showing us what he was building, what he was doing, how he was doing this. And the woods ball field, you could see where the tractor had been in there, moving stuff around. And because I know Rico ain't going to lift them logs by himself anymore. So, yeah, exactly. Am I right, Rick?
Correct.
But, you know, that woods ball field with the palmettos in there and the dip in. Yeah, I walked out there. When I stepped out there, I go, this is so cool. I love it, you know, because my favorite woods ball field has always been the Ponderosa. You know, it's for some reason it's just got not just the name, it's got a feel to it for some reason. I don't know how do we even explain it.
I'm building what it is. It's historic. You know, we played it. You know, that we used to play NSG events there. You know, I mean that's how far back that goes. You know, because that's the oldest field in the world. You know, it's the longest running paintball field on the planet.
It's the longest running field, period. What is it, 2 miles across?
Not quite. Not quite.
Hey, you ought to make a T-shirt that says
200 yards. I'll tell you that.
Hey, you ought to make a T-shirt that says, I survived the Ponderosa.
I was going to do that last year, and you know what? I might do that this year. I might very well do.
I would get one instantly.
I'd give him my
one right away.
You know, that feels the shit out of you. Believe me.
Oh, it does. But is it fun to play? Absolutely. You know, it's, you know, just like Rico's woods ball field, you know. I thought that was so cool when I stepped on it. I'm going, oh my God, you know, with the palmettos and the tall bunkers and everything like that. And, you know, we went out there and, you know, we played hard, but, you know, we got beat on that field. That still loved it.
That field brings back so many memories of the old World Cup at Old Town. Well, you know, when you get in those palmettos, you almost flash back to the 90s.
Yeah.
I love to play in the palmettos.
That's just like your field, you know, out there at the Ponderosa. I was telling people at the beginning of the show that I played that last year, and it was almost exactly to the day, 30 years prior to that I played that. Yeah. So, you know, and Rico, you just you knocked it out of the park. You know what you did was you made WCPL look really, really good.
Well, we're a strong league. We have strong members. We'll have strong supporters, and we'll continue to do these type of events, and we'll get nothing but better as we go, and we'll be able to support each other a little bit more next year. I particularly wanted to be involved in the California event and the support end, and I honestly couldn't make it because I was coming out of surgery with no weight bearing. But
no, I understand that.
All the events are going to be, you know, high quality events for those that are looking to follow this league. I feel very comfortable with that.
Yep, me too. You know, everybody, we were going to have one of the inductees into the Paintball Hall of Fame tonight. Let me show you. This is all I've got of him. Ross,
I'm here, Fred. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but we can't see you.
Well, that's because I'm old and ugly.
No! Come on, buddy. Man,
let me see what I can do. I can figure something out.
You know, everybody that's out there right now, this gentleman was my first really good gun sponsor. He had Line SI, made the Bushmaster. Everybody, the dark square you see. Well, now I got two dark squares. One's Rico, and the other. There we go. And the other, everybody, is Mr. Ross. Is Mr. Ross Alexander.
Well, there you go. I'm looking really good.
Hey, you know what, Ross? We can't see you, but let me congratulate you so much on being inducted into the Paintball Hall of Fame, my friend.
Well, it was quite humbling, quite surprising. I've been in touch with just a few guys in the last 30 years, particularly Tim Sloss, and he was the one who kind of hinted that was coming up. Again, surprising, humbling. I mean, I got my name on this thing. I'm Ross Alexander Hall of Fame. It really is Line SI Hall of Fame. You know, that was the group. It was a team effort. It was a store. It was a field, multiple fields. It was a bunch of people putting a bunch of ideas together. The result was one of the first tournament pump markers. The Line SI Bushmaster. So
I got it right down there.
I get my name. I'm going to get a plaque, but there's a whole lot of other people that were behind the whole deal.
Well, you know, Ross, you know, there's that way behind everybody, but you know, who was the focal point? Who was the tip of the spear for Line SI? Ross Alexander. I was back there. Remember me? So I
do remember you. I think I even put your decal in APG. Or your there you go. Me and Bud.
Bud Orr, yeah. Bud was going to be on tonight, but but I think he's having technical difficulties. But let me show everybody. This is the 2 pages. I was going to read these. This is the induction for Ross Alexander. This is his accomplishments right here, everybody. And I've had these for over a week now because, you know, Ross, I knew you were going in way before anybody else did, other than Bambi and Hanu. So, they asked me about you, you know, and I told them that you were so deserving it wasn't even funny. And I still feel that way today. You are the best of the best. You work really, really hard for people. I wish people could see you. You know, they just seen a picture of you, but I wish they could see you.
He left the show.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yep.
Oh, I lost him now. That was Mr. Ross Alexander, everybody. You know, Ross, one more try here. Nope, can't pull him up, guys. But Ross Alexander, I don't know if you know him. Do you know him, Rico?
No.
No? Yeah, he had Line SI, terrific guy. I actually still have the very first Bushmaster that I played my very first professional tournament with down here. Kevin knows Ross. Bill, I don't know if you've ever met Ross.
I've never met him personally, but I've used his product, and it was really the first modified gun that came out. Really, it was the first gun to be scared of if you're using the Sheridans, you know.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, until Jimmy put that thing, Jimmy Anderson, everybody, until he put that thing on the side of the nail spot, I still have a lump in my finger where the scar is, and that came from that. Even when I would put tape on my finger to use that baby to cock it, it would tear through the tape. You know, you get out there, be playing, you wouldn't even understand it. And the day'd be done, your fingers all raw and bleeding. Ever happened to you, Kevin?
Absolutely.
I know it did.
Multiple times.
You know, and like Billy's saying that, Billy, you probably got pump guns back there that has a lot of his work into it.
Oh yeah. I've got a couple of his, and but they're all really copies of what he did. You know, it's everything from Thunder Pig. You know,
But you know, oh, do you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then, I wound up going with Aaron Carter. So,
yeah,
that was a
Aaron's out here. Yeah, Aaron's out here in California.
Yeah.
But the thing is too is Ross made those. Look at this.
He's back.
He's back.
Is that better?
Everybody, Mr. Ross Alexander. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I just decided to go with the phone, so I apologize for all the technical difficulties.
Yeah.
See, I was only good for pump guns. When it got to, semi-automatics and all that stuff, it got a little more complicated.
Well, you had that semi that we played with.
Spider, actually. It became the Spider eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have one of those in the basement, Ross, I think still.
Well, it's nice talking to you guys. It's now you can see how things have changed over the last 30 years.
Oh, you look great. You probably look better than all of us, except for maybe Rico. He kind of shines like a star out there. Yeah, Ross, this is Rico Fernandez. He owns Gator Paintball down there in Florida, and that's where we just had the WCPL tournament at. And Rick, this is one of the first real good gun manufacturers, but I put that aside all the time. I go on how people are, and this is one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. And back in the day, you could walk up to this guy. I don't care who you were. You could walk up to him and talk to him. He was very approachable. And to me, that was always a huge thing in paintball, is the guys that were approachable. That meant everything to even guys like me back in the day when, I was a nobody, and I went up and talked to him, and I walked away from there just feeling so good. So he's done that for thousands and thousands of people. So Ross, that's why you're in a Paintball Hall of Fame. You deserve to be there.
Yeah. Well, like I say, humbling, and I'm in with some really, really good people, and I know a lot of them. It's kind of go. I sort of sunk away for a bit, but I mean, Randy Camilla and I go back sort of outside of paintball in another world, and that Randy's in, and we're going in together is kind of cool for me. Yeah. I hope Randy makes it to Michigan. Don't know, but well, pretty nice company I'm in.
Yeah, you've seen that's the Ross Alexander sheet right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure it all came through. It's kind of fun.
It did, When I went in, they put all mine on the back of a postage stamp. I'm like, what the heck? He gets 2 sheets, man.
Oh no, I just use a lot of adjectives.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, a lot of adjectives. Yeah.
I thought you were stuttering because it was the paintball gun. So so you're just taking up space. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just extremely pleased for you. I really am. And who was probably turned on more than you were about you going in, and that's Timmy. Schloss, Tim Schloss. Matter of fact, this last weekend we all talked about you a bunch of times because David Ruddick, Paintball Dave, is going in along with you too.
Right.
And that's another terrific person.
They were together. I got a nice little conversation with them the day after I found out. Yeah, Tim is probably my closest buddy in the whole deal. I've taken him out on a couple of non-paintball adventures, tried to kill him on the bicycles on the white rim of Utah, 100-mile dirt mountain bike ride, up and down with trucks that are with a truck support that Tim helped drive, down over death-defying hills and big drops into the Colorado and Green River. I've worked him over a little bit, but we've kept in touch.
Yeah. He thinks the world of you. He really, really does. And a lot of people do. You came on his show before, towards the end of it, I believe it was. And then the next day I get all kinds of people going on, why didn't you have him on longer? They're kind of pissed at me, but I says, hey, the guy came on when he wanted to come on. I can't go knock on this guy's door and stand there with a camera going, you're going to be on,
Tell him I'm technically challenged.
No, that would be me. I'm the professor when it comes to that.
I think Tim's got you all beat.
Okay, yeah. Tim still has a flip phone.
He has a flip phone. I don't think you can text him.
Yeah, you can text him, but that's it. So yeah, Yeah, because he wanted to be on the show the other night. Thank God Tony Ruddick was there, so she put him up on there, and he absolutely loved it. But you know, Ross, I'm first of all, I'm very pleased to know you, and very pleased to say that I've known you for a long, long time, and I got to shoot your marker back in the day, which I still have it down here. The same thing, you know, the exact same one, and I still love it to this day. It's a memory when I pick it up, or even when I look at it. All I do is first thing I think about is you, because you know you're always a humble guy. You know, I mean, you talked a lot back in the day, but you know anybody could walk up to you and talk to you. It was great.
Well, appreciate it, Fred.
No, you deserve it all. I just I feel bad now. We run out of time. I seen that blank spot and I kept waiting for your picture to come up. And the minute your picture came up, I was going to pull you up. I didn't even know that I could do it. I didn't even know that you were there, that we could just talk to you. So that sucks. So, but
no,
Ross,
that's good. Till next time.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to have you back on again, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a show and we're going to have all of the new inductees on at the same time, so you guys can all talk about it. You know, I had David Ruddick on last week, and I asked David, I go, well, how does it feel to be inducted into the Paintball Hall of Fame? And you know, he almost couldn't even tell me. He was just choked up, because it's just, you know, it's just something, because it comes from your peers. It comes from people that think that you belong there. So, and if anybody belongs there, Ross, you belong there. You belong.
It's a humbling deal. It's sort of, yeah.
Yeah, you're alongside Bud. You're alongside Tom Kay. You're alongside Dan Kobe. Yeah. You know, all you
I'll
guys.
Just try to be worthy.
Oh, you are. You know, back in the day, that's why I mention everybody's name. You know, I mention your name at the beginning of every show. See, you're on there, right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it. Love you, Fred.
And the reason I mention that is because people need to know how this sport really evolved to the point to where it is today. And you take you out of the equation, you take Bud out of the equation, you take Dan Kobe out of the equation, you take Tom Kay out of the equation. Take my word for it, it would be nothing like it is today. And that's the reason that I mention everybody at the beginning of every show. I want these kids nowadays to really see where the guys that worked their butts off back in the day to make it what it is today. And you're one of them. You're just finally getting your just dessert, like you should have had a long time ago.
Well, thank you, everyone.
So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, Ross, you know, I apologize so much. If I'd have known I could have pulled that up and had you on there, I didn't want to pull up a blank screen.
We're good. We're good.
It sucks. So, real quick, Ross, tell everybody, I'm going to let you say goodbye first, but I want you to tell everybody what it means to you to actually be inducted into the Paintball Hall of Fame, because I know what it means to me to see you go in, but what's it mean to you?
Wow. To me to be recognized for the whole beginning. I was part of the pioneer part, and I kind of will hang my hat on that. I mean, it was a pump gun with Enerjets, with little CO2 cartridges. I guess we could say pump marker now. I see. I'm still old school.
Yeah.
So a pump marker. I was kind of taken back by it, because I was a marker, but I was also fields. I got to tell, it's in my little bio there, I got to tell Bruce Willis to shut up, so I could, you know, I got to hang with the Van Halen band. I mean, there was some really good fun stuff in all of that. The stories and the memories and just sort of be rekindled again, and sort of catch up with you and to catch up with Tim and Bud, and sort of spin those stories, and some of the guys I know and some of the guys I get to know again. It's been pretty humbling and pretty exciting. Well,
you deserve it all, my friend. That is the marker that you gave me. That's what I played my professional games with, right there.
There you go, with the quick change. Is that the lever action on the back? Yeah, see, that thing was totally cool. That was totally cool.
Oh.
When we were playing with those, and you could you could pop that lever, get a little hiss. Some guy come running at you, thinking you're out of gas. Pump it down and pop them.
Yep, absolutely right. Yep, yeah. But I got to tell you, stuff like that it changed the game, buddy. It changed the game. It honestly did. And the way you put it together, so sleek looking.
Yeah, we got away from welds.
So sleek.
Yeah, that drop tube just spins on there. It was, it developed pretty well, and I'm pretty proud. But again, it's Line SI. That's not all Ross in that gun at all. That's
who was the tip of the spear?
What's that?
I said, who was the tip of the spear?
Well,
yeah, but I know who it was.
But a lot of people cocking their arms. You know what I mean? A lot of people throwing it out there. So it got some range. Anyway.
There you go. Look at this. How many championships were won with Bushmaster paintball guns?
Oh my God!
A lot early. A lot early. When it was just CO2, they seemed to do the best. From Navarone and Iron Men, and you guys are all sort of taking local tournaments. Bushmasters in Florida, Terminators in Florida, Ridge Runners. I mean, even Australia. We even had a winning team down in Australia with the Regulators and Colin down there. So, it was fun. I got to go to all. I've hung the flag on 3 continents. That's pretty cool.
It is.
So it gave me a little bit of a world look. I got to see some of the cool spots in our world.
Very cool.
I'm humbling. It gave back way more than I gave in. You want to know the truth? Well, and for that, I'm forever grateful.
It did maybe mentally for you, but those of us that actually shot your marker and actually got to know you back in the day, and just everything about it, you meant an awful lot to us, and you still mean an awful lot to us. You really, really do. And I apologize for not bringing you up earlier. If I'd have seen your picture, you'd have been up instantly. But I'd like to have you come back when I bring in all the Paintball Hall of Fame guys that are going to be inducted into it this year. I'd like to bring you back and actually look at you like this. I think that's pretty cool.
Sure. All right, you guys. All right.
Hope you're going to make it to New York, Ross.
We'll see.
All right.
All right,
yeah, because I got a band patch. I got a band patch for you.
Hey, Bill, nice to see you again.
Yep.
Rico, nice to meet you.
Pleasure's
Kevin,
mine.
we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Good news.
See you in my sights.
If Ross can ride bikes, that means he can run the flag back on the Ponderosa.
Well, Ross is like 6'10".
I want a picture of Ross standing next to Jerry Braun. That's what I want.
Yeah. Hey,
I might have one.
At the beginning of my show, Ross, I show you and I standing there with a group of people, and every one of us look like we're standing in a hole next to you.
Well, I know the picture. I'm wearing the Bushmaster shirt. I got it.
Yeah,
I like playing in the redwoods.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm proud to display that picture at the beginning of my show, too. Every show. You deserve it, my friend.
All right, you guys.
Take care, Ross.
Take care, Ross. All right, everybody. That was Mr. Ross Alexander, Line SI. Great, great guy. I wish I'd have known earlier to pull him up like that. But he had to go to his phone. I couldn't see any picture in the green room, not at all. So that's what happened. But everybody, he is a new inductee into the 2022 Paintball Hall of Fame, and he is extremely, extremely, extremely well-deserving. Very much so. And a great guy, a great friend of mine. And, Kevin, we got to be proud to know him, too. You know that?
I put a hell of a lot of howdy bolts in those guns.
Howdy.
Yeah.
Howdy texted me all the time, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's going to be. Everybody's going to come to New York. It's going to be cool. So,
how do you be my judge?
Yeah, Kevin, I appreciate very much you coming on tonight, my friend. Let's say goodbye to everybody, and then I want you to give Wendy a big hug from all of us.
I definitely will. It's great being on your show. I appreciate you having me on. Bill, I'll see you New York. If I
Yep.
don't see you before that, Rico, great job this weekend, my friend. Your work was not in vain. Awesome,
Thank you,
awesome event.
Thank you so much.
Next year.
See you, Kevin.
We'll definitely shoot it.
All right, everybody, that's Mr. Kevin Donaldson, you know, and Kevin needs no introduction. Kevin's been around a long time. Hey, that's a guy that's worked his butt off for paintball too. You know, to call Kevin a friend, it's for me, it's an honor. To call him a good friend is a privilege. I think he is one of the best guys I've ever known. And you know, he's one of them guys. You know, Rico, he's one of them guys. He likes you. He likes you. He don't like you, just stay away from him.
I like that about him.
You know,
yeah,
and he's got a bear.
He's got a bear. I consider him the sergeant major of paintball.
He is. Yep. I love the guy. You know, I just when I get to see him, I get to give him a hug. It just it makes me really feel good. It honestly does. So, anyhow, Rico, you're next. I'm gonna let's say goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
Real quick before you do it. Real quick before you do it, I've got to thank you for a terrific event. I had an absolutely great time down there. I love the field. I love the way you did everything. I just want to say thank you from me. Okay, now it's your turn.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Bill. I stare at this camera and I look at myself, my hair. I don't know what's going on in here. I'm getting a little older.
At least you're looking at hair, damn it.
I know. I got new dimples. I'm getting older. I do it with love, though. We do these events with love and passion. Fred, no. I don't know. I'm going to start taking it off, whatever's left, but to match yours. But listen, thank you for the show. Thank you for being at the event. Can't thank you guys enough, Bill, Fred, and the band, Tim Schlaus, the whole crew. Would have left that scene Bador and met him in person.
You will.
Thanks, Dan Colby. Met Dan Colby. I owe him a call. He had some questions. We never got together, as it, was busy. But thank you for all that attended, those that tuned in tonight. We'll do it again next year. And it's been a pleasure.
Been looking forward to it. Rico, you have a good evening, and thanks so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody, that was Mr. Rico Fernandez. Bill, it was a great tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an awesome tournament. It went by entirely too fast. It just seems like once it happened, it was done, and everybody's going home. It's just crazy.
Yeah, that Woodsball field, though, man, that was pretty kick, huh?
Oh, yeah. It was almost like a scene out of Gilligan's Island, it just
exactly, yes.
It was like it was a stage, it was awesome.
It absolutely. I felt like Gilligan out there playing, but
Oh yeah, like, oh, it's like Homer Simpson. But
and Francis Swain, man, said goodnight to Rico. Francis, I can't wait until this one's done this year, but maybe next year you can come out to Florida and maybe come and hang with us. I think you'd love it. Francis, and I'd like Rico to meet Francis too. I think Francis is the new face of paintball, the face of the upcoming paintball players, and people. He's just a good guy, don't you think, Billy?
Yeah. It's what it takes is good people. It's just we need more ambassadors to the sport.
Yep. Well, I always say we all need to work together. Well, you and I are working together. Kevin's working with us. We got a lot of good people working with us, buddy.
Oh yeah. We definitely have a good time. It's just
absolutely
ready for the next one.
Yeah, huh? So, all right, Billy. Well, it's past my dinner time.
Yep, I had oranges.
Yeah, I know. I seen you doing.
Yeah. Taking them apart with a pick. It's like,
before I came out to the studio to do my show, my wife goes, "You want something to snack on, a banana or something?" I go, "No, I'm going to be fine." And halfway through, my stomach's growling like Kevin's bear.
Yeah. We didn't even eat dinner. Our whole timetable's messed up, You're going from eating seafood and stuff, and now it's like, what do you really want? You know.
Well, you know, we're going out to the field to go out there to play, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning where I come from.
Yeah,
because it was 7 there. You know, so I'm like, oh, geez, so well.
Yeah,
it is what it is. So, all right, Billy, I appreciate it, buddy.
Yep. Well, everybody, will see you later.
Yeah, we had some good people there, though, didn't we?
Yeah, more memories. I'll never forget the last stand chip.
Oh, that is so locked into my memory bank. I can close my eyes and just watch it happening. Boom, boom, boom.
It gets better every time. Man, I just
unbelievable.
People don't know, we were playing against. It was the team that had they were in the black jerseys, MSVSP Special Ops, or
they took second.
Yeah, they were a very good team, and they wiped us all out in like less than a minute. And Chip was the last one alive, and he was standing behind a bunker that was tall enough to actually stand behind, and he's gunfighting with a guy, and the guy shot his hat, and it threw the hat straight up. Then the hat got hit again while it was in the air, and then the third round hits him right in the forehead.
But it was like a movie shot. It hit like and it splattered both ways. You know, we're like, whoa!
And we were all laughing so hard. You know, he couldn't even get mad about it. You know, it was like, oh shit!
There was no way to reenact that either because it was just incredible.
It was so dang funny. I'll never. That is the best memory ever. Now
I'll give you that. That was absolutely because you got such a round head, man.
And pretty much one of the first things Chip's saying is like, man, that right flank's got to hold their shit.
He even had a shot inside the hat because the first shot lifted the hat up, and it looked like air lifting it, didn't it?
Yeah,
it
just went straight up. Like a UFO taking off.
It went up like that, and then the second one right into the hat. The hat was gone, and bam in the head. Hey, and you know, how does he feel when he's got his 9 teammates over there just laughing their butts?
You couldn't say nothing, you know.
Unbelievable.
That
I wish everybody out there could have seen that because you could tell somebody about it and they just would not believe it. It was incredible.
And on the video, you know, it's on the video, but you can't see it from that angle because it was too high up. So you just
the camera would have had to have been right down on
it. Yeah. You see him get lit up, but that's it. You don't. I don't think you hear all of us dying laughing because the dead zone is like 10 feet from them.
Yeah.
You know, we're all just dying. It was hilarious.
Wow. All right, Billy. Well, let's say goodbye to everybody.
Right. Everybody, we'll see you next week. Be careful. Have fun out there.
All right, everybody. That was Mr. William Bailey. I got to tell you guys what Bill and I were just talking about. I mean, I can close my eyes and see it. I wish you guys could have seen it. You guys would have died laughing. It was one of the most comical things I've ever seen. Absolutely. So anyhow, everybody, I appreciate so much you watching tonight. You know, like I say every week, you know, we appreciate very much you watching. It's there's no words that can really express how grateful I am for that. And I know Bill and I, we come on, we absolutely like it when we got people watching and the views that we get the next night. It's so well appreciated. So once again, I want to thank and congratulate Mr. Ross Alexander for being inducted into the Paintball Hall of Fame. I want to thank Mr. Rico Fernandez for a great tournament and coming on tonight. And I want to thank, as always, my very, very, very good friend, Mr. Kevin Donaldson, and obviously William Bailey. All right, everybody. Till next Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock Pacific time on Facebook on Flagpole Productions. Please play hard, play safe, play fair. See you next week. Bye-bye now.